Welcome to Tanya Plans. I am Jeff Hutchinson. I'm guest host of her wonderful channel. In this video, we're going to talk about using the planner with teenagers and why teenagers should use a time management system. So if you're interested in that, continue to watch and we'll learn Tanya's secrets on why teenagers should use a Franklin Planner system. Hey, Tanya, we've watched your 5 videos on when you did the Franklin Planner training course that they offer that's for free. And I know you probably have a link to that in the bottom of the description like you normally do. And we were fascinated with how clear you're able to explain things. But what the students had some questions on that. Now, just to get a little background about me before I do that, is I'm a high school teacher and I have 178 students and I teach employability skills. And one of those skills is time management. And so I decided to teach them how to use a Franklin Planner. I've been using the Franklin Planner since 1987. So it's a long time, even before they were Franklin Covey and all that kind of stuff. However, teaching high school kids when they have their phones, they want to use their phones all the time, a skill on how to time management is a little bit of a challenge, especially the kids that I have. They really are addicted to their phones. And however, I know how important time management skills are on the job and in any career and even in life. And so I've challenged them to learn it. We've created a little bit of a Franklin Planner copy, if you want to look at it that way. I can't buy a planner for all my students, so I designed one on an Excel spreadsheet and we printed off the pages, and so they have a look-alike, so they can get the techniques down. We came across your videos and I've showed them to all my students, and they've taken the certification test. One of the questions that we want to know is, when did you start using a planner, and sort of then what caused you to have a need to use one?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to your students at Channelview High School. Just want to say hello to them. And I want to commend you on the job that you're doing, because I think that you're teaching a very valuable skill. This is stuff that everyone needs to know, is what you're teaching. So I really hope that the students appreciate all that you're doing, because you have certainly went over and above by reaching out to me to do this Zoom call. So I think you're just doing amazing work.
Oh, thank you.
Um, Honestly, I don't remember the first time I've used a planner, but I remember the first time that I have been trained to use a planner. And I was at work. They were offering a Franklin Planner class at work, and this was in 2010. And my coworker said, "Hey, make sure you sign up for this class. You get a really nice planner." And I didn't know anything about the Franklin Planner system. I just signed up to get something for free. And I signed up to get out of work, because, when you go to training, you still get paid and you don't have to do work that day. So that's why I signed up. But when I took the class and I learned the Franklin Planner system, I was blown away. I was hooked. And I just saw it as an excellent tool to be the person that I wanted to be and to reach my goals.
That's incredible system. So you took the class in 2010 at work. So your company was real interested in having their employees learn time management. Why would they want you to learn time management?
To be more productive. They get something out of that by offering that course. I'm sure they had to pay for it and pay for the planners and all that, but they certainly would get more productivity out of the employees if
Right.
they taught us these techniques.
Companies really do invest a lot of money in their employees because they know that they're going to get at least that much money and extra productivity out of them versus if they didn't take the class. Learning all the steps of the routines in the planner, the weekly planning steps, the daily planning steps, that seems real overwhelming because it's a new habit. How long did it take you to learn to where that became easier or that kind of stuff? Because right now my students are struggling with learning this new habit.
Yeah,
So
when I first took the class and I learned all of the techniques, I used a planner, but I didn't use all of those techniques at first. And I would say to someone that is new, don't worry about all that. Just get in the habit of just using your planner and personalize the planner to make it your own, so you want to use it. If you're into the color pink, personalize it and make it pink. If you like Nike, Put the Nike symbol on it. Make it yours. You're more
Re-
likely to use it if you personalize it and it represents you.
yeah, reflects your personality and reflects your, yeah, exactly. That's what I did with mine too. I used the Monticello, brand thing for mine. I have a classic planner,
Yeah.
and things like that. But the kids were designed to, or they made a cover for theirs with their picture in the middle and the cover and that kind of thing. And then they put their Franklin Planner certificate on the back cover.
Oh,
So they
that's
have
perfect.
that for make the front and back. They have a 3-ring binder is what we did, and so that's how big theirs are. So that worked out really good. Well,
Excellent.
tell me this: since you learned 2010, if you could go back, when would you start trying to do a planner? If everything was perfect, how far back would you go?
I definitely would have started earlier, probably in grade school. I was a
Grade
major
school.
grade school. I was a major procrastinator. A planner would have helped me keep up with quizzes and tests, and also like to reach certain goals. We didn't have a lot of money growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So like things like a yearbook, even though I got a job at 16, I couldn't afford a yearbook. I never did get a class ring. So I think if I had a planner, I could have made a plan to
Mm-hmm.
get those things. And it's not, having a planner isn't just about material things and getting material things. It's about designing a life that you love and being the person that you want to be.
Right.
That's what the planner is about. So I think if it definitely would have been beneficial if I could have used it earlier.
I think so too. To me, and I picked it up when I got out of college. Well, I was still in college a little bit, right, and things, but it helped me out in college for sure. And then when I was in the military, it was really helpful for me there on keeping up with everything. So I don't know if I would have gone back all the way to grade school, but because I wasn't that interested in school back then, I was interested in girls and band, and
Oh,
that was about it when I was in
okay.
school. But and I really appreciate you being so candid and open with the students here on this stuff. Should students use a paper planner to start with, or try to use something electronic? Because I know they all like their phones and things like that. What would you suggest?
Well, we can't get away from technology. I have my iPhone right here. And of course, it's a great way using technology or Outlook and other electronic tools is a great way to remind you of appointments. It's a great way to share your calendar with other people. So technology definitely has its advantages, but there are advantages to paper planners that technology doesn't afford. And I think one of the major advantages to using a paper planner is that it's distraction free.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you went on your phone to do something and then you end up somewhere else, or you
Mm-hmm.
getting a notification, or you end up spending an hour doing something and you're like, oh man, I just wasted an hour
Yep.
and I didn't even check my bank balance, which is what I intended to do. So
Exactly.
yeah, so a paper planner is great in that it allows you to get your thoughts on paper. I think it actually releases your mind, to get all those thoughts out of your head, those things that you want to do, your goals, your aspirations. And I think it helps relieve stress. And I definitely think it's beneficial to students to use.
One of the research projects that I'm involved in with a guy friend of mine named Randy Kurtenberger, we're discovering that the act of physically writing things down is much different than typing.
Yes.
It affects your brain in a different way. It has a greater impact on you than if you just type it in or if you just think about it and don't write it down. I was one of the ones that switched and then came back,
I did
and
that too.
when I talked to Gary, he did the same thing, and he was an instructor for Franklin, and he goes, hey, you just can't beat the paper planner for some reason. It's just something about it that's unique. What I've had the students do was to write out their value, write a clarifying statement. So what are some values that you have, and how did you work that into your life? Because I know you're a value driven person.
Yes, I have.
So what are some of the values that you have that you want to share?
Well, let me turn to that page. Yeah, I look at values as the core of who you are. And here are some of the values that I've written down in my planner. I value family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I value family because I've had some things happen in my family. People get sick, people pass away, and it's made me really value my family members. So that's one of the core values that I hold to my heart. I value financial fitness because, as I mentioned before, I grew up without a lot of money. I value courage. I
Mm-hmm.
value tranquility. I look at that value as having peace of mind because if you ever not had peace of mind, you value when you do have peace of mind. So that's something that I value, and I value cleanliness. I like to see stuff in order.
Yep. That fits with your personality too. Your personality type is driving that value for you. But that's good. Having a clearly defined set of values is, I think, is really critical. We also, they asked us to define our roles that we play. I asked the students to define 5 roles that they do, and obviously it's pretty easy for them. They have their son or a daughter, their a brother or sister, their student. And they came up with some of them have a job, so that tell them put where your job is and things. Come up with that you play, and how does the Franklin Planner help you in being better at those roles?
Well, some of the roles that I have written down, 2 that I hold most dearest to my heart is being a spouse and being a parent. Those are really important to me. And other roles are like being a friend. I have being a financial systems analyst. That's the type of job I do. I'm gonna read to you my clarifying statement for being a parent. And a clarifying statement, as you know, is like an affirmation. It's what you envision. If I was the perfect parent, I based this on my mother because my mother was so excellent to me. So I based how I would look as a great parent off of what I saw in my mother. This is my clarifying statement for being a parent. I will be a supportive parent of both children who is able to uplift, inspire, and encourage my children in positive directions with patience. So that's what I have there for being.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's exactly what I asked the students to do is write it as if you were doing that role perfectly, even if you're not right now, but how it should be. Write it out. If you're planning on being married, then you need to define, what does that spouse look like.
Absolutely.
Define what that spouse looks like. What kind of character traits do they have? And then hold high standards for yourself. Don't just take anybody come along because they may sing the right things to you, but what are they really like?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. You hook up with the wrong person, it can derail your life.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So having a clear definition of what you want in your spouse is really key. Ask a question here, because I know I don't want to go too long with stuff, but what advice or encouragement would you give young people about their future and how a Franklin Planner can help them?
Well, the advice that I would give is this: you have the capacity to be great. And I'm going to say that again. You have the capacity to be great. Using a planner does not mean you don't have fun. You can still do video gaming and play your Fortnite, play your Roblox, or whatever it is you want to play. You can still have fun, but using a planner can help you reach your goals. If you start now, and this is what Mr. Hutchinson knows, if you start now thinking about the person that you want to be and what goals you want to meet, you can achieve almost anything.
You can design the life that you want to lead. Tanya, thank you so much for letting me guest host your show. We look forward to watching more of your videos as you come up with more things.
Well, thank you so much.